All right, beautiful people. Welcome back to another amazing and impactful episode of the True Health Forever podcast, where we share live our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game. And as usual, I have with me the beautiful, the smiling, the hoop earring wearing, the potluck community CEO, the hair curly and wrapped up like a crown herself. Please introduce yourself to the people.
What's up, party people? My name is Sinclair, aka
The
Health Nerd, and coming to you live on a Sunday.
What day is it?
Look, every time I'm like, shoot, what day is it? Sunday afternoon.
Indeed. And if you're watching on YouTube, first off, shout out to you for watching on YouTube. Definitely like and subscribe. We appreciate you. But you already see our new addition to the TH4 team, our multimedia intern and research associate, JD. What's popping? Welcome to your first episode. How you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, man, of course, man. We had a nice little hike last week, and introducing you more to the vision of TH4, what we're building here. You were able to walk us through your own personal journey. So definitely happy to have you on the team. You are a research student scholar. You were giving me all types of books to read. I was like, I'm not going to read all that, JD. Thanks for the book recommendations, but that's a lot of reading. But this is your first episode. Usually when we're on here, like the first few minutes, we like to just reflect about our week. And if you don't mind, you stepping into this for the first time, how was your week, JD? You can go ahead and kick us off, man.
My week was excellent. So I am now here in Texas, and I spent a few months in California living with family, and my parents moved here, and so now I'm here, essentially. So
nice. What's the weather like in Texas right now?
Oh, it's nice. It's not California weather, but it's
still
nice. I think we're in the 70s right now.
Yeah,
that is
good.
Nice. Okay,
yeah.
okay. I see you, Texas.
Well, I mean, that's my guess, to be honest. I don't actually know. I'm not really good at detecting the weather, so.
What?
Yeah, we landed yesterday, and the first thing that happened was my brother got me from the airport, and we went directly to the Ranger game at the new stadium.
Nice.
That's a great introduction back to the state.
Nice. And yeah, shout out to your brother, JT. What's up, JT? One of my groomsmen, you know what I'm saying? One of the suave spies that was on my groomsman team. We was a solid squad. The pictures come up on the screen sometime. I'm like, hey, squad. But anyway, Queen, how was your week? Updates or just reflections?
My week was good. I'm really trying to remember. I think it was just one of those weeks that just, it happened. It happened. It was semi-productive. Yeah, I don't have too much. Like, I'm trying to remember like something. Normally I have something.
You did go to the farmer's market yesterday.
Oh, I did. Thank you. I did go to the farmer's market yesterday in Calabasas. It was wonderful. Okay, so I'm one of those weird people. Like, I'm introverted, but I still like I'm an outgoing introvert. But like I like being by myself, but at the same time, like going out by myself gives me a little level of social anxiety.
Gotcha.
So there was part of me that's like, okay, you're gonna go to the farmer's market.
You got this
by yourself. I went by myself. But honestly, it was really fun because everybody's just in such a great mood. That was like the first thing I noticed, literally from the guy who I paid $4 for my parking to like the
Hey, $4 for parking? We didn't talk about this. Hold up now.
I might have been swindled. I don't even know. But long story short, I did not get a ticket. That's what's important. But yeah, everybody was just very nice. When you would like one, they're not like selling super hard. So like when you feel comfortable like walking by and checking out some vegetables without someone like, hey, buy my turnips,
Not the turnips.
So it was nice, but you could walk up, everybody was like, hey, how you doing today? Pretty much everybody was commenting on how hot it was because I think it caught everybody off guard. It was cooler during the morning and then it just got hot out of nowhere. But yeah, long story short, it was really fun. I got, we got some potatoes, got some garlic, got some Meyer lemons.
Yes, there we go. I was thinking what the name was.
You always get it wrong. What did you say yesterday? You
Lamar
said Lamar
Lemons.
Lamar Lemons. I was like, what is that?
Oh, man. Shout out to Lamar Odom.
I got some homemade Thai yellow curry paste and a recipe along with it, so I'm really excited about that.
Nice.
Got some like turmeric superfood blend. That's like they call it turmeric
The
latte.
monkey sugar, was that from?
I love hearing his interpretations of the things that I buy.
You gotta stop laughing at me on this podcast. we bring in JD, and the first that you just laughing.
Monkey sugar. Monkey.
I've never being able to follow any of that. So
thank you. See, we're on the same page, JD.
It's because you call it monkey sugar. Nobody knows what that is. That's not a thing. Monk fruit is a fruit that is used as an alternative sweetener, much like dates. It is a low glycemic sweetener. We'll get into what that means in the podcast. But long story short, it's just a good alternative for regular like table sugar. It's healthier for you. So I did get a bag of that. That was not from the farmer's market. That was from Costco. Gotcha. Shout out to Costco. And then the last thing I got from the farmer's market was seafood. I wasn't necessarily expecting to see that there, but there was a couple different vendors selling like, fresh local seafood. So got some mussels and some sushi grade salmon. So nice. We're going to be using that salmon today for something. Yeah. Maybe some either as an appetizer, like some sashimi, or maybe we'll do a full sushi. I'm not sure yet, but that's what I got, and I was excited.
Nice.
And I did not have any awkward moments.
Well done, Queen. We're proud of you for being by yourself.
Thank you. And on that note, how about you, Devon?
For me, my week was pretty okay. I feel like it wasn't a great week. There was a lot of work stuff I needed to do. So yeah, it's a struggle when the work takes you away from the dream.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you're working your 9 to 5, which is good. Blessed to have a job. I do love my job at times, so that's good as well. But it's also a little bit of a struggle when you're working this, but it's like the dream though. There's some stuff to get done. So all in all, it was an okay week. I don't have any, I think, notable things or accomplishments that I got done this week. Other than actually, last week, remember we were talking about the Fitbit challenge. And how James B kept on beating us. This week, I was able to win the Fitbit challenge. Yes. That was
by a landslide, by a good 10,000 steps.
Yeah, by a good 10,000. The Queen got second. I see you. You know what I'm saying? Up in here. It was also cool because this was the first week that I started waking up early to work out with you intentionally. So I feel like that was good to be able to wake up at
5:30, 5:45. Yup.
Terrible.
It's still dark outside.
Yeah, but to wake up that early and then start, working out. And this is not an attack on you, Sinclair.
Here we go.
What? What?
When you got to start off like that, this is not an attack.
It's not an attack, okay?
But
you suck. However, I'm not gonna say you suck. However, I feel like sometimes, and we talked about this on our podcast episode last week, on how sometimes you need to do your own research and find out things for yourself and not just believe whatever someone's saying. So there was a time, and when you said it, it was possible that it was true. So that's why I'm saying it's not an attack. But there was a time when I was like, oh, how come you don't run in the morning? How come you don't walk in the morning? You're like, Devon, at 5:30 when I wake up at 6 o'clock, it is pitch black outside. It is pitch black. You can't see nothing. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, if it's pitch black, then yeah, to be safe, don't run, don't walk. Y'all, I wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. It's for sure.
It is okay. Black. Please stop. It is not. It is not. It is not light at 5:30. At 6 o'clock, that's how daylight savings works. It gets lighter as the days go on. So, anyways, initially, yes, it was dark all the way until 6:30 when I got in the car because I would be driving to work and watching the sun come up. But no, now it's light much earlier. You are right.
Yeah, so we were able to wake up together, go on our runs, our walks, do our squats and our lunges together, come back, do a little bit of functional mobility that she led, and I just kind of watched and mirrored the best I could. So I think workout wise and kind of just as a unit, this was a good week to be able to wake up together, work out together, stay fitness together, get first place, second place on here. So yeah, that was cool. I like that. Right. Sorry, Queen. But can we do a podcast today?
I guess.
Is that okay? JD, is that okay for you? Can we do a podcast?
I'm running out of time.
You're running out of time? All right. Busy research assistant over there, man. I understand. I understand. So, if you didn't know, 1 in 10 Americans are diagnosed with diabetes. It's wild.
I'm surprised.
Right?
I thought it was higher.
I definitely thought it was higher. I think obviously when you zoom into particular communities, for instance, the Black community, we are 60% more likely to get diagnosed with diabetes. So 1 in 10, if you do the one, it's like probably 1 in 3 for African Americans. Don't know what it is for the API community or Latinx community, but assume it's most likely higher than that 1 in 10. So today we want to talk a little bit about just diabetes awareness, some things that you can do to avoid, or maybe not avoid, but reduce your chances of even getting diabetes. But then also, if you have it, if you're living with it, type 1, type 2, there's all the way to type 3, type 4. Like there's
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Like we were doing some research, shout out to again our research associate on there, and we were just like, what? There's more than 2 types?
Right.
So yeah,
that's scary indeed as itself. That hopefully that's not a trend that will continue, that we'll have type 5 and 6. Like that's scary.
Yeah, even as a diabetic, I did not know that.
Right, just found that out. It's crazy. But long story short, we want to give some folks some tactical steps, some action plans. Again, if you're living with it currently, or if you're trying to make sure that you are not the one to also get it. So, you ready? Without further ado, let's get into the episode. So first off, really quickly, just in case people aren't aware of what diabetes is, right? Don't want to make any assumptions. Can one of you amazing, intelligent people just break down basically what is diabetes? Oh, JD, you want to take? Okay, come on, you diving into the podcast. Go ahead.
Well, so diabetes is a disease where basically people have difficulty managing blood sugar. So I'm type 1. So that means that my pancreas does not produce insulin, and insulin is what brings your blood sugar down. So if I eat food and there's carbohydrates in it, your pancreas naturally creates insulin and it will bring the sugar to a normal level or keep it at a normal level. Mine doesn't work. So my blood sugar will go really high. So I have to use manufactured insulin, and that's why I'm type 1. Type 2 is for people who it still somewhat works, but because of unhealthy lifestyle they may live, or maybe they're overweight, they can kind of get it, and then they have to make lifestyle changes to go, back to healthy.
Nice. And I like that. And for type 2 specifically, you mentioned like it is lifestyle changes that you can make. So for type 2, lifestyle changes can, get you the diagnosis, but lifestyle changes can also reverse that diagnosis. And that's some of the things that we're going to talk about today. Specifically for type 2, I know the Queen has done some research into type 1 as well. But there it is. One more thing that I want to note is you said carbohydrates, but then you talked about diabetes and sugar. So for people listening, can you talk about how the different things that you eat, how those may break down and impact your blood sugar level?
Yeah, for sure.
And the Queen is here to support you.
Yeah.
At any time.
I would need to actually brushing up on the exact differences between sugar and carbohydrates, but I will say that there are definitely different types of carbohydrates, and even sugars for that matter, that really affect your blood sugar in different ways. So if I were to eat like Skittles or something, my blood sugar right away will go very high, and like within minutes, very quickly. But if I were to eat something that's like low, like basically slow, long-lasting carbohydrates, it's more likely to gradually go up over time. And so this is why you should be strategic with what you eat and whatnot. I think Sinclair should take the sugar portion of the question.
Yeah.
Oh, she's happy to do it. You saw the big old smile. She was like, "Pass it to me, JD. I got you."
Or is it? It's
the stick
the back
for the relay?
Yeah.
Yes.
I got you.
There you go.
Okay, so like he mentioned, when you eat carbohydrates, kind of the connection to the sugar aspect is your body breaks down anything with carbohydrates down into glucose molecules, and glucose is a type of sugar. So it really doesn't matter what type of carbohydrates it is, it's going to get broken down into glucose, which is sugar. So of course it's not that sugar is sugar, right? He mentioned there are different types of sugar that affect your body very differently. So like the things that are more high glycemic are going to, like he said, like the Skittle, candy,
sucrose.
Sure.
I feel like those are probably sucrose.
Yeah, probably. We'd have to look it up. But yeah, sucrose. Those are going to spike your blood sugar very quickly, which means you eat it, and like you said, within minutes, your blood sugar is going to spike up. Whereas like sugar from like fruits or vegetables,
fructose.
Exactly. But mostly like vegetables. Vegetables are still carbohydrates. They still do break down into sugar, but they are going to have a more gradual increase, like you mentioned, which is better. You want to, try to avoid having those spikes all day, rather than having a more stable kind of insulin and blood sugar level. But I did just want to touch on one additional thing that he said, and kind of the how it happens, because I think that's cool to put some visual to it. So long story short, you eat the carbohydrates, your body turns it into glucose molecules. Now you have glucose molecules in your blood. Insulin's job is to take those glucose molecules and bring them to your cells, so that you can use that energy later on. So that's why when you have type 1 diabetes, your body doesn't produce the insulin. So that's why you're left with, glucose in your blood sugar, which causes the high blood sugar readings, right? If you have glucose in your blood, but there's nothing to keep it in check, then now you just have extra sugar in your blood.
Is that why? I remember one time, this was family reunion in like Alabama. One of my cousins, Jaleesa, RIP, she has diabetes, and like she was just tired. And I remember as a kid, like I didn't understand it. Like she had like just eaten food, and then she was just sitting there just tired. And you were saying how if you have type 1, the insulin takes the sugar and puts it into your cells so that you can have energy, right? You can be awake, the cells can use it. But if all that gas, all that energy is there, but it's never basically put into the tank, you're going to always be tired because you don't have access to the gas.
And the other thing to keep in mind is if you have a spike is characterized by a sharp increase and a sharp decrease. So that's probably what you were seeing, right? It does increase, but that means you're also going to have a crash at some point. That's where like the itis comes in, because you also are going to have a time where you're now depleted. But yeah, to your point, it really kind of depends on the situation and which type they have. But yeah.
Gotcha. So I do have a follow-up question, and it is semi-related to the itis, but glycemic index, right? And this is how I'm sure y'all be able to break it down even better. But like which food is high in sugar, which food is low in sugar. Can one of y'all break down what is the glycemic index, and then maybe some foods that are high, like very high on the glycemic index that would cause the itis, and then other foods that may be better or lower on the glycemic index?
I don't know if you want to take that, or you want me to take that, JD?
Get started and get back to the specifics, but so basically, glycemic index is it's basically a scale between 1 and 100 of how a food affects your blood sugar. So if it's a 100, then it's pure sugar. So basically, if it's very high, close to 100, then it's more likely to be pure sugar. I guess that doesn't mean it is pure sugar, just how it affects your blood sugar and how the pure sugar affects your blood sugar. So like low glycemic foods, they can still be high carb, like a potato is high carb, but it's low glycemic. It doesn't mean that, or something like berries, which does indeed have sugar and whatnot, but it's low glycemic. So it's very good for diabetics to get those sugars that we do need. Like we do need sugar in our body, just like what you said, for our cells, and to get energy and not feel fatigued, not feel dehydrated, to, not get a headache. Like it's very important to control foods. Everything is very important, but it's important to pick the right kinds of sugar. So maybe you can elaborate more on that.
Yeah. So like he mentioned, right? You've got the high glycemic foods that low carb and low glycemic are two very different things.
Low carb.
Right. So it's not necessarily carb content and glycemic rating aren't necessarily directly correlated because, like you mentioned, like potatoes are high carb, but they're depending on the type of potato can be considered low glycemic. Spending also depends on how you cook it. There are a lot of different things that go in. There's the same vegetable can be higher glycemic if it's fried versus if it's steamed or something, things like that. So how you prepare it also goes into it. Like boiled potatoes are lower glycemic than French fries.
Gotcha. That's a shame.
Yeah. But in general, all of your, like he said, your natural sugars, your fruits and vegetables, those are generally lower on the glycemic index. So if you take so for a switch that we've made is like white rice. We really don't eat much white rice anymore. We'll either do brown rice, which is lower glycemic than white rice, or we do cauliflower rice. Cauliflower rice, I think cauliflower has a glycemic index of like 10 or something like that, which means it has a very minimal.
Make the switch. That's one for sure actionable step anyone can make, whether you're currently diabetic or you're trying to, reduce your chances of getting it. Take out your white rice and put in either cauliflower rice or brown rice for sure. You will not miss it, especially if the other things that you're cooking have the flavor, have the punch that you want. You're definitely not going to miss the white rice.
But that's and I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I know white rice is definitely on the latter half, the 50 to 100 range. But yeah, those are easy. So like eating cauliflower rice is very slightly going to raise your blood sugar, whereas eating white rice is going to raise it a little bit more. And again, it sounds very simple, although there are other things that go into it, like what you're eating it with. There are certain things that, like when combined, eating white rice by itself may spike your blood sugar high, but if you combine it with your healthy vegetables, with some good fats, will help mellow out that spike. So it's also about the different foods that you're combining. If you make sure that you get a nice array of fruits and vegetables, healthy fats, healthy proteins, you're much more likely to stay, have a nice slow burn of those carbohydrates versus just a quick, spike.
So really quickly, and the next thing we're gonna go to is workouts and things that people, like other things that people can do that can try to just reduce their chances again or increase their quality of life. So I want to talk about the itis really quickly, because growing up, I thought the itis was natural. Right. And I mean, technically it is natural, but I thought it was normal. I think that's a better thing because, and I would eat, the food, and I would always get tired after the food, especially on like Thanksgiving, Christmas, when you got your turkey, you got your ham, your mac and cheese, your stuffing, your candied yams, your ice cream, your cheesecake, your sweet potato pie, all the type of stuff. I would eat like 3-4 plates and sometimes not even get up from the table. I would just literally sleep at the table. Like, where am I going? Y'all love me. I'm still sleeping.
Another plate, please.
So I felt like, again, growing up, the itis was normal. Can you, one of y'all or both of y'all, talk about why the itis happens and maybe the correct response your body should have when you put the right fuel into it, when you're eating the right stuff, how you should feel after a meal?
I think that's a question.
I was just gonna say it kind of goes back to when we were talking about your cousin. So if you imagine that you have, so you eat a meal high carb content, right? You're gonna get a lot of glucose in your blood, right? You're gonna get a lot of blood sugar. If you don't have enough insulin, if your body's not going to produce the amount of insulin it needs to then take that and put it in your cells, now you have a lot of energy, but you also are going to be depleted. As soon as you use that energy, you have nothing left because it hasn't been able to take it and store it into the cells, if that makes sense. So now you may have that spike in energy, You may have that spike where it's like, oh man, I feel good. As you're eating, you're feeling good, but eventually, yeah, you're gonna run out of that glucose, of that energy, because it wasn't able to store any of it for later use. Mm-hmm. So that's why you just feel tired, because it's like, where's all the energy? Yes, I just ate, but I don't have access to the energy that I just consumed. Mm-hmm. That's the best way I can describe it. I haven't actually done research specifically into the itis, but if I'm knowing just how the body works and how the insulin and blood sugar works, that's why I imagine the itis occurs.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. JD, you heard of the itis?
No, I actually haven't. That's why I wanted her to answer the question.
Got you.
That's a you thing, I think.
What you say?
I was like, yeah, I feel like Sinclair should answer that one,
Yeah, I feel like we should look into the itis. Like, I don't know if it's a Black community thing, but I feel like I grew up knowing about the itis, and that it was just normal. Like, yeah, after you eat, you go get the itis. It is what it is. But I feel like it's not normal, and the fact that there's other cultures that I've never even heard that word, I feel like makes it even more important that this is not normal, and it shouldn't be something that particular communities deal with. Like, let's eat healthier, and let's try to eradicate the itis so that our children have no idea what it is. Yeah, that should be the goal.
Because to your point, right, if you're eating the right quantity, the right ratio, again, of your fruits and vegetables, your things that are going to give you that slow burn of energy, you're not going to notice, you're not going to feel tired.
Right. I haven't gotten the itis in years.
Right. If you eat a salad, you don't get the itis after you eat a salad. Right. Why is that? Right. It's because those are your slow burning carbohydrates, where it's going to give you energy throughout the day rather than just a spike and a crash.
Right. Okay. So transition over. Last segment, I want to talk about workouts, and specifically JD's gonna go because if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the shoulders. He might do a bicep flex, but the man works out. All right. So if you can lead the diabetes workout, or just tips for folks as they're trying to, again, increase their quality of life or decrease their chances, talk to the people.
Well, first, why is it important to work out when especially if you have diabetes?
Well, first of all, it helps keep your blood sugar lower, because when you work out, you become more insulin sensitive. Which, then to explain that a little bit further, that means if I work out and eat food, like a certain amount of carbs, I'll take a certain amount of units. Maybe I'll take eight units of insulin. If I work out before it, I may only require 6 to get the same result after. And that's just one of the huge advantages of working out. And that's not only for diabetics. That is for every single person on earth, that, at least unless you have some type of other condition. But on top of that, blood flow, a huge problem. Diabetics are more likely to get heart disease, which is America's #1 killer by like a long shot. And so you think, what's heart disease? It's cholesterol and your arteries are clogged up. Well, you gotta work out. You gotta keep your cholesterol low, and working out does help with that, of course. And another thing that I always keep in mind as a diabetic, I get less blood flow to my feet. So I try to make sure to not do like foot exercises, but make sure to run, and make sure your calves are loose, and make sure to do your squats, make sure to keep blood flow in your legs. It's very important to do that.
Nice. When you're talking about heart disease, I feel like it's interesting connecting something that both of y'all have said. You said, if you have high blood sugar and you have low insulin, then you can't take the sugar out of your blood and get it to your cells. And then you said that usually diabetics have you have a higher increase of getting heart disease because there's stuff blocked in your veins and your arteries. So I'm wondering, does sugar buildup cause plaque and all that stuff inside of the arteries? Like, if that's literally the thing that's causing high blood pressure, it's all the sugar that isn't being used in the cells, all the sugar that the insulin is not taking is now being built up in your veins, causing plaque, causing high blood pressure, and then eventually, if it closes, that's what will cause a stroke. It's literally the sugar molecules in there. No? Confirm or deny?
It sounds right. I cannot 100% confirm or deny.
Yeah, I won't confirm that, but I guess it could make sense. Or even as a diabetic, nothing to do with working out, to my knowledge, I'm more likely to get my retina chewed up, and the sugar molecules attack it. And so I go to the eye doctor every year, besides my binocular glasses. So I go there for another reason, for being a diabetic. And luckily, I know like they have not done it yet. So my retinas are healthy despite what the glasses show.
Nice.
But that's a
hey, glasses are coming back in swag, man. Don't worry about that. Glasses.
Oh no, these are nice glasses, but the lens are kind of heavy.
Gotcha.
But that's why I'm so strong. I had to keep my head up with these.
There it is. Silver lining. I like that.
But I think the reason I want to say I can't confirm or deny is I don't know if it's exactly the sugar molecules that are causing the buildup. But regardless, I'm sure the sugar molecules are the reason for the buildup. But whether that's a very direct correlation or whether it's the sugar molecules that attract something else and latch onto something else, and that's how it causes the buildup. So I don't know if it's necessarily a direct correlation, but I'm sure the excess sugar being in the blood is definitely a cause, a factor into plaque buildup and things like that.
Gotcha. Appreciate that.
It could be even that high blood sugar makes your heart work harder. Like like if you're working out, that's good, but maybe something that simple can have such a great effect.
Yep. Because I'm thinking again, I just conceptually, I don't know the science like y'all do, but I'm thinking if your blood has more blood sugar in it, naturally our bodies like equilibrium. So the heart, like you said, is going to pump more blood to try to dilute the sugar that's in the blood.
That would make sense.
All right. I'm just we'll do some research in it. We'll get y'all some actual.
This is what I mean by he likes to throw the curveballs. He'll be making connections throughout the podcast and be like, so is that the cause for world hunger?
For world hunger?
Like what? I don't know.
That's funny.
I don't know how to answer that question.
Okay, but to bring it back to earth, ground level, can each of y'all give one action item for people listening, people again either with diabetes or people who are trying to reduce their chance of getting it? What is one actionable step that they can put into their lifestyle, not do one time and then never do again, but something they can do on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, maybe a daily basis, in order to keep their health in mind and avoid diabetes? Let's go with JD first, if you're feeling up to it, and the queen can take it home.
Why you think it might be somewhat of a boring answer, but almost everything that you're told to do, it just means you have to do it to an even greater extent. So, like you're told to work out because it's good for you. Okay, fair enough. Well, for diabetes, like living with diabetes, it's even more important and even more for you. Or eat your fruits and vegetables. Of course, that's great for the average person. If you're diabetic, it's very, very good for you. So like everything is just amplified rather. And again, I think the most important thing too, and is let's say you do have diabetes, and team diabetes here. Well, it doesn't have to control your life. Like if you love Italian food and you love a bunch of pasta and devoured in olive oil and all that stuff, cool, good for you. Just be smart about it. Like your body better than anyone, and so I don't recommend eating pasta like a bunch of it every night with pizza and then sodas and whatnot. But if you like doing it, then I think you should do it as long as you're being smart about it. Like maybe if you're going to have a really big meal tonight at your friend's birthday, then that morning work out and eat oatmeal and berries. And for lunch, eat something a little bit lighter. Just be smart about what you do, but don't let it change your life.
Yeah, love that. Don't let it change your life and plan accordingly. Like if you want to do this, that means okay, this morning you got to do a little bit of extra. You got to work out. You got to invest in that future that you want to have. Well done, JD. First episode. Well, I see you. We're gonna bring you back. Sinclair, one piece of advice that you would have for folks.
It would be to find something that you can make a simple switch on. So like JD said, you don't want to go and completely change your diet. Well, you don't want to go vegan tomorrow, right? Let's say you find out you get diabetes. Going completely vegan, cold turkey the next day is probably not the best solution because it's not sustainable. And your body's going to go into shock. It's going to be very hard and you're probably going to, you may be able to do it for a little while, but eventually your body's going to be like, I need something that I'm used to. And you may have a binge that will be more detrimental for you than, just sticking with the diet that you're on. So my recommendation is to find an easy substitution for you. So like I mentioned, I'm not really big on rice. So that's why making the switch to either brown rice or cauliflower rice really hasn't affected my life much at all, right? So find something that you can make an easy switch on. If you love pasta, you shouldn't give up pasta, but maybe switch to a healthier pasta alternative, right? The white pastas have a higher glycemic index than some more of the whole wheat pastas, or there's even like chickpea pasta, lentil pasta, zucchini noodles. Like there are so many, easy substitutions you can make to make it a little bit healthier for you. So, again, it doesn't have to be a huge change. Just find one thing you can switch. So if you're, eating cereal in the mornings, maybe try a smoothie. Yeah, I think just find an easy switch that you can make. If you're eating white bread, try whole grain bread, something that's lower glycemic. Just find one thing that you can change that's not going to feel like you have completely, uprooted your life and switched everything about your diet. Just find one thing that you can change and make that change sustainably. And, over the course of your life, that will make a big difference. Once you get used to that, then you can make another change. And then before you know it, a couple of years have gone by and you are feeling better, managing your diabetes better or preventing diabetes. So yeah, that would be my recommendation.
There it is. Love to see it. As y'all know, True Health Forever, we are trying to, go ahead, JD. You got some more wisdom?
Yeah, sorry. To add one more thing to that, I'll say, really the simple message of that, just take it day by day. For me personally, if I write out a plan and I say every morning I'm going to wake up at 4 and then I'm going to eat this and then I write it all out, I'll look at it and say, who wants to do all this? I don't wake up and say I have a goal to eat healthier today, and then to work out in the morning and go for a walk at night, and that's my goal for today. Then I do it, then you feel good, and then that's how you build a foundation.
Yeah. Love it. One step at a time. Love it. So y'all know True Health Forever, we are trying to help folks live their best life. And particularly, we try to focus on a few health disparities that are common in America, but specifically common within and prolific within the Black community. Diabetes definitely being one, heart disease definitely being one, cancer being one. So another small plug for the 7 smoothies to live your best life. In there is the smoothie Diabetes Who? Diabetes what? So that is a great resource to go ahead and get. It's an ebook on the True Health Forever website. Go ahead and get that and try the Diabetes Who smoothie and all the other amazing smoothies that we have.
It's actually my favorite.
Yeah,
it's my favorite tasting smoothie. Yeah, it's good stuff. Try it.
Go ahead and try it. More products to come. Maybe there'll be some more specific diabetes support products or other heart disease products, holistic, some other stuff. More to come. Let us know in the comments of the YouTube channel or in the Instagram post, True Health, the number 4ever. Go ahead and let us know if you would like to get some more support and resources around decreasing your chances and your family's chance of getting diabetes or improving the quality of life for some of your loved ones that currently are living with it. Diabetes, who? We go get it. So we thank y'all for tuning in to another powerful episode of the True Health Forever podcast, where we tell our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
And then that's JD. He doesn't have a cool outro yet.
Howdy.
We'll work on it.
We hope y'all stay healthy. We hope y'all stay mentally wealthy. And of course, we hope y'all stay true.